I want to play you. All the while we're talking, the Republicans are telling you taxes are high, or net taxes are high. Republicans are out there telling you, you need to hire us because inflation is high. Inflation is high, and it's the fault of Biden. I love what Stephanie Ruhle did here. Check this out, and we'll take it on the other side.
For the first time, gas prices are now averaging over $5 a gallon. That's a lot of money. One estimate, Mark Zandi, he's now saying that households are now spending about $160 more on gas a month than they were a year ago. And if you think gas prices are up, other things are up as well. Food prices. It seems like everything out there we're buying costs more. So why? Well, you've got to look at what's happening around the world. The war in Ukraine is obviously having a huge impact on gas prices, but they're also a really big exporter of grains, wheats. That's causing food prices to go up. But what's important to remember, it's causing prices to go up around the world. We also still have supply chain issues. Because China has been shut down, that impacts the supply chain. And this inflation that we're dealing with, other countries are dealing with it as well. Canada, Mexico, Europe, around the world. But for the American consumer out there, they don't necessarily care that prices are high around the world. They care that it matters here. But there are bright spots in the economy. Our jobs market is still very strong. Our wages are up. And despite prices being higher, we are still seeing people spending. In fact, we're expecting going into this summer very high demand for travel. People flying, people driving. We might not like spending these higher prices, but we're willing to do it. And right now, all the focus is on the Federal Reserve. Because when we could say, what is the president doing? He's not doing much because he can't. It's about the Federal Reserve. They're going to raise interest rates this week, possibly 0.5 percentage point. And here's why this matters. If they raise rates too quickly, well, that could dip us into recession. And if they don't do it enough, prices could keep rising and inflation hurts. But what's also important to remember as we're dealing with this can't be solved overnight. And Republicans right now are using inflation to push people to the polls because it's really hard for us. So I ask you, just like we're asking the president and this administration, what are you doing about inflation? Well, Republicans say it's the number one issue for the American people. Ask them, if they win in November, what are they going to do?
Well, the one thing that we have to prevent is from them winning in November if we don't want to see several crises, because we know they have no interest in the average American citizen. We know that as a fact. Based on the policies they support, they have no interest in making your lives better. So we can't allow these things to change, to make it possible that they get elected. So going forward, let's remember that. Ask them how specifically what will they do to reduce inflation? And you know what? They have no answers. They'll just say, oh, we'll cut taxes. Okay, how does that solve the problem? Remember, Republicans never have answers. Remember, progressive Democrats are the ones who support the policies most Americans want, bar none. And what we have to do is get more progressives in office and make sure that the neoliberal Democrats that remain, that we keep them corralled and force them to vote accordingly, else be primaried in their elections. And that we have to start getting very strict about that. Effective 2022, when we take the House again, when we hold on to the House, we have to make it absolutely clear to neoliberal Democrats that you don't support the American people with the progressive policies that they are requesting, that they absolutely will be primaried. So, Stephanie Ruhle, you're absolutely right. Ask those who claim they have the answers what specifically they're going to do. Most of the times you'll find that they have no answers. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.